Nice one. All right, well, welcome along to this webinar on trading the racing markets. Thank you very much for coming. My name's Tony Hargraves, and I'm here to tell you about the new ebook that I've released in the last couple of weeks, just called The Racing Trader. Basically a culmination of my experiences over the last 5 or 6 years on the UK and the Australian racing market. So I hope to show you some stuff here today that you haven't seen before, and that you'll have some questions at the end of it. So let's have a look what this is all about. It's basically going to let me show you how I made 61 winning trades in a row, and how with this book you're going to be able to do the same. So there's no great secret in here that stops any of you being as successful. It's actually quite a simple formula, and like anything, if you know how to do it, it's easier than when you're trying to attempt something that you don't really get the hang of. So I'm going to show you how to do all this in the book. I'll show you a bit of it tonight, and it will just prove that with a little bit of knowledge it's a very powerful thing. So this is the ultimate guide to trading and betting on horse racing markets in the UK and Australia using Betfair and the corporate bookmakers. This is a combination of both, and show that how you can use them together to help you to succeed. So we'll start off by just having a look at the winning trades. A lot of people want to see these and how I did it, so I'm just going to get all these results out of the way. They're all in the book for you to look at, so I won't dwell on them too much. But basically, over a 4-day period in June 2012, I traded 61 races and had 61 wins, all of them on the Australian racing markets. A lot of people have said, oh, they're really hard to trade, there's not much money there, and there's low liquidity, but all of that can be used to your advantage. So this is a screenshot from in the book. There's the first 20 of the 61 of them. You see they're not really big amounts, $3, $4, $90 there, $12. They're all different. But the idea of it, as you'll find out through the evening, is making little profits often and see how they add up. So you see there the total 1,500 over the 5 days. And I didn't trade on the 24th. You see the results there go 25th and then down to the 23rd. But it can do it, you don't just, it's not a one-off thing. So I'll just show you a couple more. There's one from the 12th of March, $400 just on 18 markets. And there's another day, 14th of March, I think the other one's the 12th, that's the 14th of March there, $300. And you can just do this even at evening time on the UK races where there's even more liquidity and you can do bigger trades. That was just on the 1st of June this year. 4 little trades, one evening, just $30, $30, $36, $46, and you've made 143 bucks. And you can see by the time, the bottom one's done at 10 to 11, and the top one's done at 11:25. So you're looking at 35 minutes work there. So it's a nice way to earn a bit of income. And I know my good mate Scotty Woodward sits up at night trading the UK races. He loves it. So with all his rugby league stuff and the racing, I don't know when he sleeps, but I'm sure he's listening tonight. So he loves the UK stuff. And then look, there's just another one, $140 off 11 markets just on Rosehill, Eagle Farm, Port Macquarie. You can do it any race in Australia, any race in the UK. You can do it any time, day or night, really. So we'll go and have a look, another 15 markets there, and you just see, looking down them for one final time, you see $10, $2, $47, $16, $4, $80, 21. No life-changing amounts there, but once you can do this consistently, you can really get the results racking up. So we'll go and have a look at what's in the book. So some of the stuff that's in the book and some of the stuff we'll talk about tonight and I'll answer all your questions on is it has a little introduction, and we look at trading the horses. We cover scalping, which is, the one-tick trading that you've probably seen in some of my videos, where you're just doing very small trades. I'll show you a screenshot of that shortly. Why you trade out instead of just leaving trades running into play. We look at single trades. I look at swing trading, trading favourites, get it wrong, what to do then. One of the important sections is reading the market. I think you'll find that really valuable. That's one of the harder things for people to do, and once you see how to do it, and opportunities just present themselves for you. Hedging, that is when you've made a profit on a horse, how you can equalise that profit across all the runners on a horse. Laying the field, that's a nice little technique when you have a 10 or 12 runner handicap or bigger in a nice tight race over say 1100, 1200. Lay the field, you lay every horse in the race at say 171, and if you get 2 of them matched, you've made a profit, and sometimes you get 3 or even up to 4 matched in the one race. And then we look at backing a runner before the race and how to lay it in running. I do a good video there on what not to do, showing all the mistakes that are most commonly made and what happens when it all goes pear-shaped. It's very important to show what to do when it all goes wrong. It's all well and good to be able to just show people that you're winning all the time and this is how you do it, but you need to know when it goes wrong, how do you get out of it and how do you recover and how do you keep your head cool and stay calm. So that's an important section as well. Using stop losses and getting stopped out, hitting your stop loss point, we cover that. We look at some UK racing, we obviously look at Dutching. That's something that's used to be done in the old days before Betfair. The only way that you could effectively lay a horse in the old days was to back all the others. So if you didn't like the even money favourite, you couldn't just lay it like you do now. You had to go and back all the other horses around it at decent prices. And so we show you how Dutching works. There's a little section in there on that, how to work out how much to place on each horse. I'll give you an example where it is an 8-runner race and I decide that only 4 of them have a chance and the others are, you know, 1,000,000 to 1. But I couldn't decide which one of the 4 was going to win. So by using Dutching, it gives you shows you how to back them all for various amounts, and then no matter which one of the 4 horses wins, you end up with the same amount of money. So that's a nice little section. Show you how to do arbitrage. A lot of people are not familiar with arbitrage. That's basically taking opposing views on the same market, and it sort of works like Betfair. I mean, if you back a horse at $4 and then lay it at $3.50, that's effectively an arbitrage on Betfair. But the way it works is you would normally back a horse with your bookmaker and then you can lay it at a lower price on Betfair. We've had some trouble with that in Australia because people that got good at it soon get their accounts shut. Because if you keep beating the SP on Betfair, then you're not going to last very long with a corporate bookmaker. But I also have a really good section on how to get around that. We look at the corporates in depth, how to make money out of their free bets and things like that. So we look at all of that. The most important section is market manipulation. It was I wrote the book and then I just felt it was missing something, and I was just trading along one day and I was watching these professionals just manipulate this market and what they were doing, and I decided that this was probably the most important section that should go in the book that wasn't in it. So I started recording the screens and just watching what they were doing, and I've made a nice video on that for you to be able to see live in action what they're doing and how they do it and why they do it. Basically, in a nutshell, what they're trying to do is drive the price to a certain point so that the bookmakers will follow suit, and as soon as the price goes up with the bookmakers, they hammer them on their account, and then you start to see the Betfair price coming down. And it took me a while to work it out. It took me about 6 months to figure out why in Australia so many favourites drift heavily in price on Betfair just before the start of the race and then win with a leg in the air. I didn't know what was going on because I'd never seen it in the UK. It just doesn't happen in the UK. But what they'll do here is the bookmakers blindly follow the Betfair price, and as the horse drifts, the Betfair price goes up. So if a horse is trading, say, at even money on the markets, and the guys want to get, you know, 240 or 230, that's a big difference. If you're having, you know, 20 or 30,000 on a horse, you get an extra 30 cents. That's an extra $9,000. What they do is they start driving the price up on Betfair. You see it just keep going up and up and up to 240, and the books follow it up. They go up 210, 220, 230. And then the professionals hammer the bookmakers. They hit them heavily at 230. And then you'll see in the last minute or 30 seconds before the race starts, how the Betfair market will just crash, because that's the bookmakers then getting on Betfair to start backing the horse back for all their liability that they've just taken on, and then the horse wins with a leg in the air. And it seems to happen quite a lot, and I'm sure some of you have noticed that favourites in the last minute or two before the race go on a stark drift, and then you think, oh, something's gone wrong, this can't win. And you might choose to lay it only to see it win by 6 lengths. But I've got a good video in there of that happening, so make sure you check out the market manipulation section. It's a really important section on training your mind as well. This takes a lot of discipline. You know, it's not something that's challenging once you know how to do it. It's just like you see the market, click, 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 make a few dollars, move on, click, 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 make a few dollars, move on. But you can do that race after race after race. And yeah, it did burn me out after about 4 or 5 years, but now I'm back into it. I had a little break, did some sports trading, and these days now there's so much to bet on. You don't just need to be doing this day after day. You can mix it in with your sports betting as well, and your rugby league and your AFL. You can just do this in your downtime whenever you need to make a few extra dollars, jump in and start trading the racing markets. It also shows you a way to work it in conjunction with your betting, because if you want to just have a bet on a horse and be excited about watching it win, that's great. You can do some money, make some money using these techniques, and then once you've made your profit, use that profit on the horse that you want to back. And if it doesn't win, you haven't lost anything, so there's no problem. So, excuse me, it's all about training your mind, a bit of discipline, big section on that. Of course, using BetTrader Evolution, those of you that are still using the Betfair website, you are miles behind the game. If you're not using software now on the horse racing markets, you're putting yourself at a massive disadvantage. And I'm training a couple of guys that have booked in for next Tuesday, and I was having a talk to them today. And they used to work for a very big punter, let's just say that. And they, I asked them, you know, what software are you using? And they, software? What do you mean? I said, well, you're not using the Betfair website, are you? And they said, yeah, we just use the Betfair website. They're just miles behind. What I'm going to show them on Tuesday will just blow them away. And yeah, so I think once you've had a look at Evolution and seen the information that's in it, which we'll go through during this webinar, and the advantage it gives you compared to the Betfair website, you'll be blown away, and I'll be very surprised if you aren't on your way to get it tomorrow. We're going to have a look at sports trading in Australia. That's covered in the book, as well as the racing, and we look at sports trading in the UK as well, because now, you know, Champion Profits with Scott and myself, we cover worldwide markets pretty well 24/7. We've got people over in the UK now, it's morning over there, they're scouring the markets for us, looking for tennis trades and football trades and all sorts of things. And Scott's got all these people out here in the rugby league world, and we've got the AFL covered, we've got the golf covered. So everything's covered there worldwide, so check that out. And then just at the end of the book there's a load of links and a load of trading videos. You'll get access to my whole library of trading videos. I think I've got about 80 now or something that I've done. You'll be able to see all of those and just watch them again and again at your leisure. So that's everything that's in the book. 50-something pages or 49 pages or something, I think it is. Just action-packed. Everything that there is to know on the horse racing markets is in there. So one of the things that explains that's really important is about getting top odds. You don't have to become a trader. I'm not going to try and turn you into a trader in this book. Being in Australia for the last 12 months has really taught me that Australians love a punt and they want to stay happy punting. They get excitement out of it. It's their relaxation, it's fun, and to stop trying to turn them into boring traders. I've accepted that message, and I'm more than happy to help you become a better punter. A big part of that is getting top odds, and I'm going to show you how to do that, and the software helps you do that because there's so much information in it. You don't want to be backing horses at even money that you could have got at 6 to 4 5 minutes ago. And you certainly don't want to be laying them at $5 when you could have been laying them at 3 a few minutes ago. So I'm going to show you how to get top odds whether you're backing or laying. So discover how to get the best odds or very close to it when you bet. That's nicely covered. And learn to easily identify if you should be backing or laying a horse, because it's all based on value. Whether the horse is going to win or lose is really irrelevant, and it's quite random, because the jockey could be on the best horse but he might get blocked for a run, or a 20 to 1 outsider might just get a dream rails run, and all those things you can't control. But what you can control is the price that you bet at. And what I don't want to see you doing is backing horses at their very lowest point or laying horses at their very highest point. So I show you how to avoid that quite easily. And sometimes you want to do something, you've worked it out, but the price has just drifted. You think, well, the horse can't win, but it's drifted from $3 out to $6. You can't be laying it at that price, because long term you're going to end up a big loser. So we learn to identify all of that, and it's just a simple technique to identify horses to avoid, and at what point it's okay to back them and what point it's okay to lay them. Shows you how to follow the professional money and not get badly burnt, because I've made that video I was talking about earlier on what they're doing and how they manipulate the market, so you can see quite clearly what they're doing, and then you can preempt what they're going to do based on the information in the book, and 9 times out of 10 it will work. And the other time is when you take a small loss. But I work on winning 18 races out of 20, so a 90% strike rate. And a lot of the guys I've trained are now up around 80–90% strike rate with this. They're loving it. It's quite good. So yeah, you know, you're not going to win every race. Nobody does. But if you can get 18 out of 20, you can make quite good money doing this. So the other important part of that is reading the top and bottom of the market. I'm going to show you how to do that. So you can look at 2 horses trading, or 3 or 4 or 5, and it'll show you what the prices are, where the money's being matched. What you're looking at now, for those that haven't seen it, is BetTrader Evolution in the ladder view. It basically turns the grid of Betfair sideways, and it shows you all the prices from 101 up to 1,000, and it shows you how much money is waiting to be matched at those prices and how much money has been matched at those prices. So you can see there the red lines are the top and bottom resistance points that I've identified. So the horse on the right, you see it's right down the bottom of its range there at 6.2, 6.4. So for me, I'd be looking to lay that horse knowing that the price is going to rise. And the other horse, the Thunderous Mood, I'd be looking to back that horse because it's on its way down. What I don't want to be doing is laying Thunderous Mood at 4.6 or 4.7, because I'm laying right at the top of the market and giving the backer the very best value and getting the worst value for myself. And I don't want to be backing the horse on the right, because I'm backing it at its very lowest price and I'm getting worse value than everybody else. So I explain how all that works as well. So it just looks like this. You see a horse getting back down, and you identify the bottom of the market, and that's the point that you want to be jumping in. And you can identify the top of the others quite easily once you know how to read these matchsticks that we've got. You see the matchsticks there. Every time there's a bet matched, another matchstick goes up. Green means the price has gone up, and red means it's come down. And the matchsticks just follow along, and you can easily see the patterns once you know what to look for. Now, Betfair refreshes at one time every 15 seconds, I believe. If you look in the top left-hand corner of this screen, I don't know if you can see it clearly, it says RPS API 14. The most you'll probably get is 15 on this, and that means it's refreshing at 15 times per second, whereas Betfair refreshes once every 15 seconds. So you're getting up to the second prices, milliseconds, and then the latency is underneath 0.61. That's the figure of how long it takes to get to Betfair and back. But that's a bit technical. We don't need to worry about that. Just trust me that it works very quickly, you know, far, far quicker than the Betfair website. So just the final one, I'm reading the top and bottom of the market. I'm just going to show you how to identify these trends and then what to do when you see them. And you don't always need to do something on the horse that you're witnessing it on, because it's the old what goes down must go up theory. And you see clearly on this horse Zionic, the price being hammered down from 4 down to 330, the other two simply have to go out because, you know, to keep the market around 100%. So even though you've missed the trade on Zionic, you see on the left-hand side all my trades there on Ms. Barbella. I was just trading the other horse based on what I saw on Zionic. So sometimes the market will show you an opportunity on another horse. You don't always have to catch the one that the move's on. So we'll teach you how to do that as well. The Betfair website, it virtually shows you no information whatsoever. There's your typical, well, that's your normal Betfair website. Now, you see the favourite there is 1.95. If I was to ask you what was the price 30 seconds ago, based on that, you wouldn't be able to tell me. How much money's been matched on the horse? You wouldn't be able to tell me. How much money's been matched on the others and what price were they? A minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes ago? No information. So anybody that's really trading off this screen is basically sitting on a three-legged chair. You're at such a disadvantage. I cannot emphasize it enough how little information is there to help you as a punter, because I can't tell from that screen if 195 is great value, because if he was trading at 170 a few minutes ago, it now becomes a value back bet. But if he was trading at 210, you don't want to be backing it now because you've missed the thing. So you get my point. There's no information on the Betfair website, so if you're on that, you really need to get off it and get up to speed. So this is all about gaining an edge. To be successful long term, you need to gain an edge on the market. So we're backing at the top of the market, like I just explained, laying at the bottom of the market. Reading the market is very important, because if you can't read the market, then you don't know if you're going to be at the top or at the bottom. And understanding market manipulation. Once you see the video on that, you're just going to shake your head and go, oh, I've seen that, now I know what they're doing. And then when you see it in the real markets, you'll understand it and you'll know how to deal with it. And then, of course, understanding price movements. Like I just explained, if you see one getting pushed right down, something else has to be going out. So it's learning how to understand that and how to take advantage of it. They're all tiny little bits of information, but once you've got the big picture, at the moment a lot of you will be like having a 1,000-piece jigsaw and you've only got 500 pieces of it, and you think, well, I know a bit, but what's missing? This will fill in those gaps for you, hopefully, and give you the big picture and think, wow, this is what they were going on about. So some popular strategies that I like to use. Here's a screenshot from a 1,000-metre handicap at Flemington, January this year. This is just a basic technique of backing a horse, $8.40 it was paying, backed it for $25 because all the information and analysis said it was going to be leading at the 200. Well, that's all that I need to hear. So I backed the horse and then I put a lay bet in at the lower price. On this occasion I did it at 1.16, and therefore if the horse goes close to winning, I'm going to get matched and lock in a profit on every horse, whether it wins or not. So it removes for me the stress of a photo finish. If this horse had been beaten in a photo, and plenty of the horses I've done this with have been beaten in a photo, I get paid either way. And also another technique I use there, I laid Strike the Tiger at 5.1 when it was beaten in running. You can let the software identify when a horse is beaten and lay it for you. So that was one strategy. Another strategy that I like to use is just a very simple one-tick trade. This is just basically identifying a horse that was going to drift, laid it at 204 for $500, and then it just moved up 3 ticks, went 206, 208, 210, and I exited. It can take sometimes 5 or 6 seconds to do this, and there's $15 profit locked in no matter which horse wins the race. And sometimes I'll do this 5 or 6 times before the race starts, so you can end up with a good $70 or $80 profit, no, taking very little risk, because you're just watching the prices move up and down. backing at the top, laying at the bottom, looking for 1, 2 or 3 tick movements and just doing it several times. So that's what we call scalping, although that there 3 ticks at $2, that's virtually bordering on a little swing trade, which we cover pretty well in the book. The old chestnut, how much should I try to make? I'm asked that all the time. Well, just aim for 3% per day. So if you've got a bank, of $1,000 to start with, just aim to win $30. Just scalping. You know, if you can make $3 or $4 a race off 10 races, then your day's finished. And if you can do that in 24 days, you've doubled your bank. It's a very, very simple formula. One that you know I showed to Scott when I came out, showed him what I'd been doing, and he was just amazed at how simple it was. It just made so much sense to him, and that's what he's been doing since in his spare time on the horses of the night. So it's what we taught on the courses we did last October, and I know a lot of you guys have seen that and started doing that. Hopefully it's working for you, but the key to this is just making small and consistent profits. That's what all this is about. It's not about going and winning the lottery or having $50 on a 200 to 1 shot. There's no tricks in finding winners or anything like that. It's just about making small consistent profits, and as you saw with the 61 in a row, they certainly add up. So the way I got to 61 in a row was just to set myself little challenges, which I'd like you guys to do when you start this. Just try and win 3 races in a row, and once you've ticked that off, try and win 5 in a row and tick that one off, and then make 10 in a row, and then make 20 in a row, and then see if you can go through a whole day of trading without losing a race. Then try and go through a whole weekend without losing. Then try for a week. If you can, you know, you're just trading 5 or 6 races a day, 6 days you've got 30. So just set yourself little challenges. That's how I keep it fresh and keep it, you know, up there. And that's how I set myself this little challenge, and I ended up getting to 61, which I was really, really happy with. There's just a couple of trades, a couple of scalps in there, and a nice swing trade. Number 3 went from 365 out to 470, so that was a nice swing. And then you see on the other horse, Tommy 2, I just backed it at 490, laid at 450, then it went back to 490, so I backed it again, came down to 470, and then I hedged it at 380. So nice $73 there, no matter which horse wins the race. Now, going off the screenshot, the race is still in play. Tommy 2 is trading at 105, so it looks like he's pretty well going to win the race. But to me, it doesn't matter if he does or doesn't. I get the $73 either way. And that's just a nice set of scalps on a one horse on a race in Wolverhampton. So let's go back to the other screenshot and show you. So that one's above Clava. You can do this in Australia or the UK. So there's a maiden race on the 21st of June, which 21st of June would have been Thursday. So Thursday afternoon at Balaclava, and then you've got the 10th of July at Wolverhampton of an evening, just laying it at 410, a little bit there at 409 because you get a bit better price sometimes with the averaging or the cross matching. I don't know how it works out, but I got matched at 409, another 500 there at 410, and then just hedged out of it slowly at 420, 430, 440, and then it went to 450. That's a really nice drift. And there's still 10 minutes 29 until the race starts. So you imagine that if I had just kept going there and done that for the last 10 minutes, could have ended up just, sorry about that, I thought I had that switched off. You see there that just with 10 minutes to go, you can imagine how many times you can do that per race. And I do sometimes do up to 20 or 30 trades on a race. That's why you sometimes see the big figures of $80, $90, $100, $150. Just keep scalping, scalping, scalping. So we'll move on, and we'll have a look at a recommendation I got to buy the book. I went in to watch Black Caviar, and Scott wrote this in something that he put out one day, and I liked it, so I kept it. He wrote, "When the Badger told me over dinner prior to Black Caviar's race at Royal Ascot that he just completed 61 straight winning trades, he simply nodded and replied, 'That's good, mate,' as I chewed on my lamb." And yeah, I've got to admit, I was a little bit offended. I was so excited. I came in and I met him, and we were having dinner there with a few mates, a couple of professional traders, and a couple of guys were over from England as well. And we're sitting there, and I told him, and he didn't even blink. He just did exactly what he said there. He just said, "That's good, mate." And I said, like, doesn't that even impress you? And no, it didn't really, because, you know, he's sort of, it's a compliment, but he sort of come to expect it. And he wrote, "For anyone to have 61 trades without defeats like a racehorse winning 22 straight, but like Black Caviar, the badge is the best I've seen." Oh, that's very nice. And nothing he does in the world of trading surprises me. We can't go out and just buy another Black Caviar, but you can learn from the badger and you can duplicate what he does if you're prepared to learn and be disciplined. The reason I've shown you that is basically for the last 2 lines. Over the last 9 months that with hundreds of people in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, we've done all the courses, that you can duplicate this. It's not rocket science. You can duplicate what I do if you're prepared to learn it and be disciplined. Now, 6 years to accumulate, and I'm basically putting it all in one book for everybody. I'll answer the questions at the end that I know are coming. Why, if you're so successful, are you telling everyone? It's a good question, and I have the answer for you. But it's quite simple. If you can duplicate what I do, and you're prepared to learn it and be disciplined with it, then you can succeed. What people do is they start off and they start making money, and then they get a bit greedy and they go bigger and they go for bigger trades, and it all goes pear-shaped. So once you start doing it and it works, stick with it. You're more than welcome to do all your other stuff as well. As I said, your sports trading and your betting and that. But just when you do this, just do it the way I show you. Don't try and get too clever or change it or go too big, because some of the Australian markets can't absorb it. It's pretty common knowledge now that information's money. That's how Scott makes his money on the NRL, and that's how we make money at Champion Profits. You don't have to be the best trader in the world to do this. You just have to have good information, and information is money. So once you start looking at these markets and you can read that information, you look at that picture there, and excuse me, in the bottom right-hand corner you see 100 at 335. The trades go from bottom to top. So you see down at 335, right down the bottom of the market there, I laid the horse, then I got out at 365, and then it kept going up to 4. So I backed it again at 4, and then it came down and I laid it at 375. So basically I've laid it at the bottom there, got out in the middle, and then I've backed it at the top and I've got out in the middle. So that whole movement was 13 ticks, and I've covered 11 of them. So you really just can't get a whole lot better than that. And all I was doing was following those matchsticks. So you see another one over here from just the other day, last weekend I think, double image. This was exactly what I was talking about earlier. You can see all that money at 212, 214, 216. If you look at the left-hand side below the matchsticks, you see there's 20.9, that's 20,000 at 212, 49.8 or nearly $50,000 matched at 214, and 35 at 216. And just before the race, they drove the price all the way up to 238. The bookmakers followed suit, and then, of course, they back it with the bookmakers, and then you see the big plunge all the way back down to 216 just as the race jumps. That's the sort of market manipulation that I'm talking about. So you'll be able to see in this book how the prices are manipulated and why, and you'll be able to watch the video. Armed with this information, you can then preempt what's going to happen, and you'll be able to profit from it. So, you know, the big secret is knowing the information. That's where you make your money. Let's have a look. We've got some offers for you. I'm going to throw back to Dave in a minute. I'm going to have a look at the offers that we've got for you guys tonight. Anyone that's already a Champion Profits member, you'll be able to pick up this book for just $47. Anybody that would just like to buy the book outright, you get it for just $77. Or what I believe is the best deal Champion Profits have put together. Join Champion Profits for a month for $97, and you'll get the book thrown in for free. So anybody that joins tonight for a month with us, you're going to get the book thrown in. You get it for nothing. That's a pretty good deal. Should you then choose to renew with us for a second month, and I think you will, for reasons that I'm about to show you, you'll get Scotty's ebook, Living and Learning from the World's Biggest Punters, as well as some other gifts. Dave from Champion Picks, he's put together a nice ebook. Basically, I think it covers, he'll tell you in a minute, I think it covers everything he's sort of looked at over the last 10 years with Champion Picks. It's all in there. Scotty's got some other goodies there that he'll be happy to throw in, so really is a good package. Go to championprofits.com/badger for details on the website. What else have we got? Have a look at the latest results from that. I'll just show you the AFL and the NRL. We've had 43 trades on the NRL for 26 wins, 17 losses and a strike rate of 60%, 60.5, and the NRL's been on fire. I think 6 from 7 on the weekend. 64 trades from Scotty, 40 wins, 24 losses for a strike rate of 62.5. Now those two bottom figures might not look too impressive to you, 60.5 and 62.5, but let me tell you, from a professional bettor's perspective, and you know the best in the world at this allegedly is Dr. Bob from the US. When you're betting at the line, if you can beat 52%, you make money. If you can make 55%, you're considered really, really good. And these guys are hitting above 60%. I defy anybody to get any better information anywhere on the internet than what these guys are doing with their 60% and 62. They're just phenomenal because of the contacts that they've got. As I said before, information is money. So I've spoken to Scott today. He really likes this weekend, and so does Terry, our AFL guy. Their combined tips have seen members win 14 of their last 16, all at the line, except for 2 bets, which were match odds winners at 169 and 180. So I'm sure that you guys have got a whole heap of questions. So I'll just tell you a bit about Champion Profits before we get on to all your questions, and we'll go back through all that information we've just looked at. Champion Profits is a daily information service by Scott and myself. We cover all the sports in all parts of the world. We've got the global networks, contacts everywhere. If it's happening somewhere, we hear it first, and now you've got the chance to get access to that information. So we'll find the value for you. We put it in an exclusive email to you every day. You get an email 7 days a week, sometimes 2 or even 3 emails a day with the information. And yeah, as it says, puts you in the exclusive circle. So it's $97 a month and you'll get an edge. So it's more than just a tipping service, it's a bit of an education. I'm going to throw this back to Dave, so feel free to contact me via Champion Profits website for any clarification you need of what you've just seen. Now I know that was quick, but I know I'm going to have 100 questions, so I'll go back through it all as we're asked those questions. All of us at Champion Profits wish you the very best of luck with your future betting adventures, and David's now going to tell you how to get hold of the book, and we will have a load of questions I'm sure, so happy punting, and as you'll find out in the book, happy trading, scalping, swinging, dutching and hedging as well. So Dave, if you're still there, mate.
Yeah, I certainly am. So yeah, thanks for that, Tony. We've had a few questions come through already, as you expected. So just before we get stuck into those, a couple of questions have been about the book itself, and I suppose the first one's actually, is it a book or an ebook? It is an ebook, so it's, I suppose, digitally delivered. You can get it as soon as you've paid for it. You can download it. But calling it a book in some ways is probably selling it a bit short, because there's actually a lot of the chapters linked to trading videos. So it's, you know, Tony flies around the country running trading courses, and this is basically a compilation of those. So it's a hell of a lot of information all in one book, but to supplement that, there's real-life trading videos as well. So it's the best of both worlds.
It's been called an interactive book, Dave. It's, you know, okay. It's Mark Landon was having a look at it and he loved it. He just said it's the first he's seen of its kind where it's interactive. You read it, and then you don't just read about it, you can click on it and see it being done and have it explained, and you can see that again and again. But if anybody wants a book version, just print it out and put a staple through it and you've got yourself a book.
Fair enough. So we just answer a couple of the other questions. So if people just want the book on its own, so it's $77, they can go to championprofits.com, and at the bottom of the homepage there you'll see a link saying Badger's book, or you can just type in your browser championprofits.com/badger and it's there. If you wanted the whole sporting analysis and trading advice that we've been talking about, that's $97 a month for Champion Profits. So that gets you, as Tony was saying, every day there's information on AFL, NRL, soccer when it's in season, majors golf, Formula One. It's pretty comprehensive Australian and global sporting coverage. So that's $97 a month. But for the moment, I'm not sure how long Tony wants to run it for, but for the moment, if you sign up for that, you'll also get the ebook free. So it's the same price as you would any other time of the year, but the fact is you get the ebook on top of that as well. And then for our current Champion Profits members, they'll get an email overnight which just says, it will explain how they can get that at a discounted rate, because we obviously want to look after our members as well. All right, so any questions on that, you can definitely get in contact. But there's lots of questions about what we've been covering tonight, Tony, so we'll get into those. Peter's, and actually this is probably a good starting point. Peter's asked about Betfair Evolution versus BetAngel. Do you just want to explain how people can get Evolution and also just the free option, because it's not this isn't, obviously we're users of and advocates for BetAngel, for Betfair Evolution, but if people want to use other software, they're open to that, but I'd strongly advise a trial of the Evolution software.
Absolutely. BetAngel, there's four main ones that are connected to the Betfair API. There's BetTrader Evolution from Racing Traders. There's BetAngel from Peter Webb and just the BetAngel team. There's Betting Assistant from Gruss, and there's one called Geeks Toy from a guy that used to work with Racing Traders. He's gone off and built his own. Racing Traders, the BetTrader Evolution one has a free version. With the paid version, though, it also comes with a training mode, which is really important. So you can flick it onto training mode, give yourself a bank of, say, 5,000 or 2,000, whatever you're going to be using in real life, and then you can trade the markets in real time in a situation. And that also comes with what's called a sports mode. If you want to trade football, you can see every market on Betfair on one screen. It's the only one that's browser-based. The others are all sort of just, what are they called?
Like an application, downloadable.
Yeah, the application. That's the word I was looking for, Dave. Thanks. They're an application. And this is just a browser-based. It just runs on Google Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer, whatever you want. I'd recommend Google Chrome. But yeah, look, the difference between BetAngel and Evo is not significant. I think if you're a technical trader and you really like technical analysis and pretty graphs and bells and whistles, then BetAngel's probably the way to go, but it's twice as expensive as Evolution, and 90% of the stuff you're not going to use unless you're a full-time professional in-play trader. Evo's been built for the beginner to intermediate traders. It's very easy to read, it's clear, and a lot of people I know and train that have used BetAngel, once they've seen Evo in action, they've switched over. So you're welcome to go and try both, but you know, it's half the price and it's probably twice as good.
Yeah, and when I mention a free trial of Evolution, it's probably a little bit misleading. There's a free version that you can use indefinitely, as far as I understand, which means I don't know why you'd want to use the traditional Betfair interface when you can use, although it's not as fast as the paid version, it's definitely a more user-friendly version when you're actually using the ladder and the other features of Evolution.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. The free version of Evo is sort of in between the paid full-speed version and the Betfair website. It gives you the same information of the normal Evolution, but it only gives it to you at the speed of the Betfair website. It will just refresh once every 5 seconds, although Betfair refreshes once every 15. It will refresh once every 5 seconds compared to 15 times per second, and the free version you can use for the rest of your life, but you can't use training mode or sports mode. And the cost, it's only $10 a month, so it's a no-brainer to go and get it and just use it. If you can't make $10 a month using it, then you're in the wrong game anyway, so that will give you a hint that you're in the wrong business.
Yep. Callum said, love what Tony's been saying. Will there be a replay? There certainly will, Callum. Just keep an eye on your email and there'll be a replay available via YouTube, via our newsletter. Grant's asked about how is Betfair treating traders with the new betting changes in New South Wales? Additional commission? Question mark.
Yeah, I met up with some Betfair guys the other week, and they're just as confused as we are. They're not really sure. They're obviously not happy with what's going on. What I know is that and it's common knowledge now, I'm not giving away secrets, they've rung the top 30 traders in the country and they've had to ask them to stop trading New South Wales racing because it's costing them too much money. To give you a very quick 1-minute example of that, traders last year made $110,000 profit on New South Wales racing. He paid $28,000 in commission, and the turnover tax on his bets cost Betfair around $220,000. It was nearly a net loss of $190,000 for Betfair on that one guy over the year, and obviously they just can't afford that to have him as a client, so they've had to ring him and say, mate, you have to stop trading because we just can't afford to have you as a client on New South Wales racing. So I don't know what the answer is. I presume they're thinking that if in-play trading comes in, that will cover their losses on the racing. I know that they put the commission up to 6.5% on all greyhound racing, thoroughbred racing and harness racing on every market in Australia. But, you know, they're still missing the point. If Black Caviar ever races again in New South Wales, Betfair will go broke because you go and put $1 million on at 104, you work out the turnover tax, it's $150,000 on $1 million, and if I win 40,000, they're going to take, or possibly, you know, 800 bucks or something off me in commission, and yet they've had to pay 150,000 on turnover tax. So it's just a ridiculous situation. It can't go on forever. But Dave, at this point, I don't have the answer.
Okay. Our own Scott Woodward has said Champion Profits will have a special British Open segment tomorrow. So yeah, just to reiterate, we do cover the majors of the golfing world. Wayne said, can you email attendees details or link to the books? You definitely will. I assume since you're here that you're on either the Champion Picks or Profits newsletter list. So keep an eye out for that tomorrow, and you'll definitely get it. Or just go to championprofits.com and right down the bottom you'll see a link for Badger's book. It's pretty clear.
Well, I think you've got a list, Dave, of everyone that attended tonight, haven't you? So you can email them the link automatically, or
it'll be hard. It'll be hard to miss. Norma said, book offer rewards new punters, no reward for loyalty. Maybe that came through before we'd explained the setup, but if you are a Champion Profits member, you're getting it for $47, so you're getting a $30 discount for that. Roger has said, how much does BetTrader Evolution cost?
About $10 a month, Dave.
Okay. Stephen's asked, how hard is it to learn BetTrader Evolution?
Well, I think you'd have to give yourself a good 6 weeks of using it 2 or 3 times a week. So I'm looking, you know, let's say 18 to 20 days. So if you're a 7-day-a-week trader, you'd have it nailed in 3 weeks. But there's a comprehensive user manual on the website, and every possible aspect of it is shown, written about and videoed. So you'll be able to go and get anything you want to know about it. I was running some courses on how to use it. I'm going back to the UK next week, so I won't have any more time for them. But, you know, if you've got any questions, I'm sure, you know, if you email myself or Scotty, we'll be able to help you out with it and let you know. And we can do a Skype session where I can share my screen with you and you can see how it works, and I can spend an hour or 2 with you guys and go through and show you any problems that you're having. So it's fairly simple, mate.
No problems. James said no questions, but thanks for the info, so appreciate that, James. Craig's asked, are there more seminars planned for this year? You just mentioned that you're heading back to the UK, but if you want to answer that.
Oh, no, definitely. Look, you know, you guys wouldn't have a clue where I am at the moment. So I'm actually sitting in Sydney at the moment, and Dave's in Melbourne, and I'm not sure where Scott is. He could be up with the Peking duck in Brisbane. He might be at home. I don't know. Look, you know, I'm back and forward to the UK all the time. So I'll definitely be doing webinars for you guys from over there. It just means I'll be doing them having breakfast instead of having dinner. So yeah, absolutely, Dave. Anytime you guys want something, I'm available.
Yep. Matthew's already bought the book. Looking forward to getting stuck in. One thing I will say, Matthew, is we don't want to leave you on your own. Like it is comprehensive information, and we'd like to think you can just hit the ground running. But any questions, just get a hold of us. I think you'll find Tony very accommodating and very keen to see you succeed. So yeah, it doesn't end here now that you're bought. Definitely get a hold of us if you need a hand with anything.
Yeah.
Jeff's, there's just a bunch of questions, Tony, so I'll just play on. Jeff said, I would like to ask Tony about betting with corporates, then laying back on Betfair. Is that covered in the ebook?
It sure is, mate. It's covered in depth, and then after he's read that, any questions that he's got, feel free to contact me, and I'm happy to call him on Skype and just have a 20-minute chat about it at any time. It's no problem, but it is well covered in the book.
Okay.
The corporates aren't going to like this book, Dave.
Yeah, I know, and Scott's working on something that they're going to absolutely hate, but
they're going to like it even less.
Simon's said about the membership offer. So yeah, basically, Simon, anyone that comes through in the next 24 hours who does the $97 a month offer, so the standard Champion Profits membership, we'll be sending you the link for the book. So that's how you get a hold of that one. So just there's a Join Us section for the site. Click on that, and you can get a hold of the membership information straight away, and then the ebook will be within a matter of minutes. All right, Tony, another Tony has said, oh, that was a similar kind of question about joining for the monthly membership. Matthew said, I take it your staking size is determined by the prices of the horse you're trading. Can you give us an idea of the staking size at different odds?
That's a great question. Look, anything below even money, I tend to use $500 or $1,000 stakes. On Australian markets, I tend to just keep it to 500. Anything between 2 and 3, I'll be using 200 or 250. Anything from 3 to 5, I'll be using $50 or $100 stakes, and anything above 5, I tend to just use $50 or $25 stakes. But what I've tended to do in the Australian markets is a sneaky little thing called averaging, and it is covered in the book, where if the price is low enough for me to lay it, and I'm happy to lay, I might go in with a $500 lay at say 210 or 220, but then I won't go and back it for 210 or 220 at a higher price. I'll just put in $25 bets because I don't want to spook the market. If you put in a big back bet on Betfair, people tend to jump in front of you. So I get my big lay bet in, it gets matched quickly, and then people see that and they all start jumping in front of it and pushing the price up, and then I'm just nipping out $25 at a time, click, 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 click as it goes up. And that's why in one of the examples that I showed you before, which is in the book, it goes up, you know, I get out at 220, 230, 240 as it goes up, because it's just, yeah, sort of staying under the radar a bit. But they're the stake sizes that I use depending on the price. And I tend not to trade anything really above 10.
Okay. Dag says that he's already read the book. Must have got an advanced copy, and being a one-tick trader, reading the market has now showed me how the reading the market chapter has now showed me to look for opportunities to swing trade and trade multiple horses in one market. Thoroughly recommend.
Well, Dags is a Champion Profits member, Dave, and if you recall, about a week ago when the book was released, we put a link in the daily email that said if you want to get a copy, go and get it. So anyone that's read the book now would be a Champion Profits member. So good on you, Dag. Stick solid, mate. You would have had a big weekend with Scott on the NRL and the AFL. I've been a bit quiet because there's not much happening in the UK, but got the cricket test starting tomorrow night between England and South Africa. I've got a firm opinion on that game, which was released today, and there'll be more tomorrow. But yeah, Dags he's come on a few of our webinars, and good long-term member, Dave.
Cool. Ken's asked, is there any race where you bet or lay only, i.e. you don't bet and lay in the same race?
What I tend to do, as you'll see, is sometimes if I get some good information from either a form analyst or just from the racing pattern of a horse, that a horse is going to lead, what I'll do is I'll just back the horse before the race, just a straight bet, and then I'll put in a very low lay bet during running, so that if the horse runs as I expect and at the 100 metre or the 150 metre it's coming into the race, or it's at the front or thereabouts, it just nips my lay bet out, and that covers me if it gets gubbed on the line or loses in a photo. But I tend not to do any straight bets. But that's definitely covered in the book. If you just want a straight back or straight lay, I show you how to get the best price on the horse so that you're getting the best value. And even if you're just straight betting long term, you should end up in front doing that, as long as you're a good judge of horses, that is. Because even if you're getting the best price, if you're a bad judge, you're still not going to win.
Okay. Simon wants to know if there's a way to pay other than PayPal, for example, Visa. There definitely is, Simon. You just need to get a hold of the office tomorrow. Darren's in the office pretty much 8 till 5, so just get a hold of him. It's 1300 500 057, and he'll be able to process your card.
The phone number's on the website there, so
Yep.
just give Darren a ring on that number and he'll sort you out. Yep.
Patrick wants to know if the book covers the premium charge and ways to avoid or minimise it.
No, it doesn't. That's something I didn't think of. But yeah, it's quite simple to avoid the premium charge. I can spend 30 seconds on it now, but if you want to get more details on it, just email me. Basically, premium charge works that your losses come off your premium charge. You've got to make sure that you have a couple of big losses on your Betfair account. So what you tend to do is, if you're starting to get a good winning strike rate on Betfair, is just go and have a decent bet with your bookmaker. Say you know, state of origin, you back Queensland at $1.90 for, you know, $2,000, and then go and lay them for $2,000 at $1.90 on Betfair. You haven't actually risked any money. You can't lose, and then as long as if Queensland get beat, then the Betfair amount loses, but you get your money back through the bookie. That's the way it works. You're basically betting with corporates at the same price to make sure that your losses come off the Betfair. But I can explain that more in detail. You don't want to make it too obvious, because they will shut your account if you trying to clearly avoid the premium charge. And the other way is just to have a few accounts. Well, most professionals I know have 6 or 7 different Betfair accounts.
Okay. Simon said, I can get BetAngel for free as a Betfair Black member. Should I use it?
You can also get BetTrader Evolution for free as a Betfair Black member. So you should investigate that, because I set up that deal for them last year. And if you can't get it for free from them, contact me and I'll make sure that it happens.
Okay. I'm not sure what Chris means, so hopefully you do, but it says 1.5% on $1 million is only 15,000.
Yeah, sorry, I was just using figures off the top of my head. 15,000, but still, what's I'll ask him to work out 5%. Will you help me, Dave? What's 5% of 40,000? It's
5% of 40.
No, 2,000. 2,000?
Yeah, 5% of 40,000 is well, it's 1/20th, isn't it? So 2,000.
Yeah. Right. So even on that, if you bet $1 million on Black Caviar, Betfair have to pay 15,000 commission to the turnover tax, but they only collect 2 off me. So they're still losing 13 grand on, you know, on the deal. And if you times that by how many millions would have been bet, let's say there's, you know, 20 million bet on Betfair, then they're losing 13,000 times 20, which is 260,000 on that one race, on that one horse. It's just unsustainable.
Yep. Ratty has said, why is this any different to others? He must have been talking about Evo, but I'll just ask him to clarify that if he does want to answer that question.
If it's Evo, they're all basically the same, mate. They're giving you the same information. You know, they're all the same. Any of the 4, they're all the same. They're just priced differently. Doesn't matter which one you get. Doesn't matter to me. I use Evolution, so I can help you how to use Evolution. If you get any of the others, I can't help you with support because I don't know how they work. But I know that they all offer the same information at the same speed.
Okay. Roger wants to know, is it better for liquidity reasons to trade the UK horses racing markets rather than the Australian racing markets?
Well, liquidity-wise, it's a no-brainer. They bet £1 million on a maiden race over there, even if there's 3 runners on it. So it blows anything away here. But, you know, liquidity is not everything. Sometimes there's so much money on those UK markets, you can't get a bet in. You can't get matched, or the price just won't move for you. I love the Australian markets. They're like the Betfair markets when they first opened up, you know, in 2000. That's what they were like. they're gappy and there's nice jumps and there's big swings, and as long as you just don't get too greedy, don't try and go in and get $4,000 or $5,000 bets matched on the Aussie markets, because it's not going to happen. But you can go and get 2, 3, 4, 500 matched quite easily, then it'll jump 10 ticks and you can hedge out of it. You just won't see that on the UK.
All right, because earlier in the night you mentioned you can use low liquidity to your advantage. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Use the low liquidity to your advantage, because you see things jump all the time from 280 out to 340. Well, that will never happen on the UK markets in one hit. And if you're a real thrill seeker and you don't mind flying by the seat of your pants, you can have a go on the greyhound markets with Evolution. It's one adrenaline rush. You can see things go from $2.20 out to $5 and back in a heartbeat. But don't get caught on the wrong side of it, because it's can be a bit depressing. But the dog markets are, they're like the big roller coaster.
Mick said that he saw the video today saying weight of money can be manipulated. What's a better indicator?
Yep. What's a better indicator?
Than weight of money.
Well, weight of money is no longer really relevant, because people can put massive bets in, like I was talking about manipulating the money. So, if I go and put 100,000 in at 101, it's going to manipulate the weight of money towards the lay side quite heavily, but that's really no indication of what's going to happen. So weight of money used to be the be-all and end-all of indicators, but now it isn't. Now you need something like the matchsticks on Evolution, because once you watch them for a couple of minutes, you can easily identify the top and bottom of the market. And once you can do that, then you've got a license to print money. The weight of money, I don't even look at it. I don't consider it. It's fairly irrelevant. It is covered in the book. It's in there, but yeah, it's a very, very small indicator to me now of what's actually happening. In fact, I show you on the manipulation how to go against the weight of money when it looks for all intents and purposes that the big money is pushing a price down. I actually go the other way and I lay the horse, because suddenly the big money just vanishes and the price rockets up. That's all covered in the video, and that's probably the video he's seen.
Okay. Steve said, if you can easily make $10 a race in Australia, can you easily make $100 a race in the UK?
Yeah, I think I showed you a screenshot during the presentation of $93 on one of the races. I'll just go and find it for you while I'm talking, and we'll just have a quick look at what I did. I think it was that one. So if I go from there and have a look at that, I'll just go and cancel that for you and go and put that up, and I'll just start it from there again. I think this is the one here. Yeah, this is the one here. Was it Steve, Dave, did you say? Is
yes.
It Steve
yep.
I'm talking to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Steve, you see there on the left-hand side, I've laid the horse for $500 at 410 3 times, and then I've got out at 420 for 500. Then I've just gone back to $50 bets, because it started to rise. 50 at 430, another 50, 50 at 440, 50 at 440, and then it went to 450, and I've hedged out. Now, that's just a very simple trade, and that whole trade took me probably no longer than 30 seconds. It was click, 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 up it went, bang, 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 and there's $94. So just one of those trades, and you've more than covered the price of the book or a month's membership on Champion Profits. But yeah, that's the difference. And now if I go back and show you the Australian one, that's there. I've had to trade a couple of horses there at Balaclava, but you see I've done a swing trade at 365. You see I'm using much smaller stakes there. I'm using just a 200 or 100 at $4.90. I've backed it out at 450. Backed it again at 490, out at 470, and then it dropped down to 380, and I've hedged it there. So I made $73 there. I've had to work a little bit harder, but yeah, you can go a bit bigger on the UK market, Steve, and therefore, what's important about that one there, $94. You still see there's 10 minutes, 30 seconds to go. So I mean, I've still got a whole 10 minutes of trading. You can just keep doing that, and some guys end up with $400 or $500 trades. I think you saw one earlier in the evening for $180. I did, but yeah, that's you can do more money on the UK races, mate.
Okay. Tony said, I can't ring the office to purchase membership of the book until Friday because of my location. Will that be too late? It won't be, Tony. Just get a hold of us Friday. There's no worries at all there.
No problem.
Peanuts, still victim of one of the worst jokes Scotty's ever said, but Peanuts says, g'day guys, had a bit of a break from trading and only small punting over the last few months. Looking to get back into it. I'll be getting the book for a good refresher and then getting serious.
Thanks, Peanuts. He's in on all our webinars, isn't he? He's a good fellow, and we see him there on Facebook, and he follows us on Twitter as well, so that's nice to know that you're still following us, mate. And look, it's very important that you do take a break every now and then. You know, you can't do this 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Everybody needs breaks. Dave, you've just had one. You went overseas for a couple of weeks. You had a good little break, and Darren's just been away for a week with the Gold Coast with his kids, and Scott went away to Las Vegas earlier in the year. Everybody needs to get away from it, so don't feel bad about taking a break for a couple of weeks and refreshing your batteries, and you'll come back with a whole new perspective, and you'll probably trade a lot better than before you went away.
Yep, too true. Steve says, how long do you spend watching matchsticks before deciding what to trade? And Chris has asked, there are candlesticks on Betfair and projected SPs. Can these be used?
The projected SPs is really dangerous. They're not. I've found them not really accurate, and I've never seen the matchsticks on Betfair, but that's probably something they've put in to copy all the APIs. I never use the Betfair website, so I'll have to go and check that out. But I can guarantee you that they won't be as good or as accurate as any one of these softwares. Even the free version of Evolution would be better than using the Betfair website, just down to the refresh rate. And I know that you can go and get some scripts that make the Betfair website refresh faster, but nothing will beat these software packages.
Okay, there's a couple of questions left, so I'll just let the guys know that.
Two more. We're running out of time.
Yep. Raddy says, good luck, thanks for sharing the information. So thanks, Raddy. Wayne has said, your opinion on betting assistant. Sorry if I missed it.
Yeah, my opinion on betting assistant is I've not met anyone in Australia using it, but I know that it was designed purely for in-play horse racing traders in the UK. And if you are an in-play UK horse racer, then it's probably the best. All the in-play professionals that I know use it. I'm mainly a pre-race trader, and a lot of my stuff's not done in running, but yeah, you can set things up in it. You know, you can set things up to run certain ways in grass that you can't do with any of the others. But that's only if you're going to be betting in play. And at the moment in Australia, I wouldn't recommend you bet in play on the horses because there's basically zero liquidity. Once the race is run, all the money disappears. They haven't got the hang of it out here yet. And to just go back, Dave, someone asked a question a minute ago about how long do I spend looking at the matchsticks. I basically trade the last 3 minutes of every Australian race, and I get serious during the last 2. Anything before 3 minutes, you're really wasting your time. There's no real money in the market. 3 minutes, the money starts to appear, and then at the 2 minute point, that's when the serious hitters come in and the professionals start doing their thing. So in the UK, you trade the last 10 minutes of a race. In Australia, you trade the last 2 minutes of the race.
And when do you stop trading? It's a question from Ken. You've been caught out several times trading right up to the start, only to have a substantial liability if things go wrong. Yeah, well, Evolution's got sounds in it, so you can have the sound set on that'll give you an audible warning at 20 seconds, another one at 10 seconds, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then play. But the best thing I recommend is have a TV next to you with the racing on it so that you can see when there's only a couple to go in, or better still, have the 2KY radio, because they're 3 seconds in front of the pitches, and you can listen to that, and pretty well as soon as he says all in, you need to be getting out. But sometimes you need to get out a bit quicker than that, because if you leave it to the last second in Australia, you're not guaranteed to get your bet match. So I think as soon as you hear that 20-second warning, you'd want to be looking to get out of your position. Okay. Jeff said, I'd like to ask Tony on market manipulation for Australian racing. Do the pros do this in all states or just a few?
I've still been studying it, mate, and I've noticed that they do it, definitely do it at Doomben, Melbourne and Sydney, and they do it on some of the bigger meetings, but they don't really get out to, you know, the scones, and they need fairly good liquidity to be able to do it. So it's just a case of Once you know and you've seen the video what you're looking for, it's fairly easy to identify. And if it's not there, it's not there. And then all of a sudden you'll see these big bets and you go, oh, right, there they are. So they're doing this race. They're fairly random, mate. It depends what their information is. If they've got information on a horse that's been set for a run at Scone, then they'll do it on that horse on that track. So it's a bit hit and miss. They don't do it every race on every horse, because when they're doing it, they're often looking to get a better price on a certain horse that they want to back all the way for a certain reason.
Okay, last question tonight goes to David. He says, I'm a basic punter who has a bet on a weekend and sometimes midweek. Is this too complex for someone who wants to get into trading from a basic platform?
Not at all, mate. The first thing it'll do will help you to get a better price on what you're doing now. So that's an improvement. You know, that's the first thing you should look at is, if I just keep doing what I'm doing, how do I get the best prices? Once you've learned how to get the best prices, then you can start looking at the other stuff, how to maybe back at the top, and then if you wanted to, lay it a little bit lower and get into trading slowly. But just start off slowly, mate, and just get the book and get the software, and then learn how to identify the top and bottom of the market, because I think you'll find out rather quickly that you think, oh, I was about to back that horse, and look at the price of it. It's $3.40, and if I backed it 20 seconds ago, it was $5.40. So you'll learn how to get value, and once you can establish value, the rest of it will follow after that.